So, guys, if you're thinking of buying a big bike, like a new bike, this is the first time you're gonna buy a bike, you just got your license and whatever that is. So, there's two aspects to it. One is the heart of the bike, the other one is the brain for the bike. Heart of the bike, you like what you like. I mean, nobody can change that. You like either you like a sport version, you like a cruiser version, whatever you like is what you like. Two things at least, the first two things you should consider, and even before liking a bike, is can you flat foot it? Flat foot means when you sit on the bike, both your feet should be on the ground at the level. Not toes, not ankles, no nothing. Just on the ground. If it's not on the ground, that's not your first bike. Second thing, how big should the bike be? Well, if you live in the neighborhood, you're in suburbs, and you don't live in a neighborhood that is very crowded or city or something like that, you can go about 800 cc's. I think that's a good bike to have. Less about 800 cc. Don't go liter bike because liter bikes are a little faster, a little. I don't know if you can control it or not, but 800 cc's are good. If you live in a city type of scenario, you live in a city with a lot of crowd, a lot of traffic, don't go over 500 cc's, maximum 600 if you can handle it. But these two things you gotta take care of. You gotta make sure you're able to flat foot, make sure it's not too big. The third thing you need to keep in mind is how agile the bike is. If the bike is not agile enough for you to move quickly around, or you think it's too big, too heavy, and it kind of scares the crap out of you, that's not the bike. A bike that you should be buying first is the bike that you think you can sit on it and you can handle it whichever way you want to go. Quick, agile bike is the first one to go. Third, and the last thing, don't be scared of the technology. The more technology you have on your bikes these days, the better it is for a new rider. The higher the level of technology, the easier it is to ride, it's more forgiving, it has a lot of features that will help you not make mistakes while riding. And even if you make a mistake, it will help you correct that mistake before something, I mean, you drop the bike or something like that. So these are a couple of things I think everybody should take care of, should keep in mind when you're trying to buy a new bike. Brand, all the other stuff that comes with it, brand, looks, and all that stuff, that's your heart. You like a bike, you sit on a bike, you love the looks, this, that, and all that other stuff is there, but make sure you buy the bike with your brain. Heart is important. Use your heart. Like the looks, this, that, and all that other stuff. But all these things that I just suggested, they do matter. So make sure you think about it. And the last thing is the budget. How much money should you spend on a new bike? Well, people debate about it all the time, but I am of a theory that if you are spending money on the bike, you want to enjoy the bike. That means all the accessories and all that stuff that comes later when you start actually enjoying your bike. But if you're not able to enjoy the bike for at least 3 to 4 thousand miles after you bought it, that means that's not the bike. That's not the budget. That means you need to buy a bike that will not give you any issues for at least 2 to 3 thousand miles. If it doesn't give you any issues for 2 to 3 thousand miles, then that's the bike for you. That's the budget you should, whatever your budget is in mind, whenever you look at a bike. I mean, I always prefer a new bike, even if it is a little more expensive. Go with a new bike because they give you the least amount of troubles. It's covered under warranty and all that stuff. So either get your budget right and get a new bike, or if you want to really get an old bike and because you're worried about damaging it or something like that, then make sure you buy a bike that can give you at least 3,000 miles before you start to worry about it. If you can get a bike like that, that's the bike. Budget is, of course, it's subjective to everybody else, but I think 4 to 5 grand is a good amount for a 4 to 5 grand, $4 or $5,000. $3,000, starting from 3,000 to 5,000. That's a good amount to be spent on the first bike because you do not want a bike that'll you will be under the bike fixing it, doing this, oiling, this, that, and all that other stuff. You don't want to hate the bike before you even starting to love riding. So make sure you spend a reasonable amount of money on your first bike. Not crazy. You don't want to go crazy and it's just sitting in the garage and you're not riding anyway. So don't go crazy, but just be reasonable enough for you don't have to get under the bike or fix the bike and you start hating the bike before you even start to love the thrill of the ride. Keep that in mind.